Hey, what's up, kitty cats? It's Dirty Jesus here for you and also for me. This doesn't hurt me doing this. We're gonna start off the
For you. And also for me.
Uh oh. We have to mute. This
doesn't hurt me doing this.
We hit the loop. Okay, so we are gonna start not with my voice again, but with an artist named Photay, Photay. The album is Sadie, and this song is Zeitgebers, Zeitgebers, which is German for time givers, time takers, maybe. I don't know. Sprichst du Deutsch? Callen Sie mich heute. was a little like, that's in some places like challenging to listen to, but I think it was truly a time grabber. Or giver. You know. They're only polar opposites. It's got to be one or the other. How's everybody doing? Dirty Jesus here. Mildly lit. Sufficiently lit. It doesn't matter. How is everybody? It's been a little while. Sorry, I've been busy. I'm working for the man now. But, you know, just because I'm working for the man does not mean that I'm not also working for you. I am your spiritual Alex Jones. I sell you only love in unquenchable quantities, and also iodine or virility pills. I don't know what he sells. I have tried to watch like a little bit of Alex Jones, but I just, I don't know. Maybe some people watch me and they're like, what are his words? Like, what is it that he is saying for when he speaks, it means nothing to me. I would like to, you know, you should call into the show, 1-866-10-666-3. I think I'm going to get a good caller tonight. I got a feeling. I've been working the Twitter hard, 140 or 280 characters at a time. I guess you can't really see my shirt, so it really doesn't matter if I'm wearing it, huh? You know what? I'm going to wear the shirt. It's not that cold out, but it's like, you know, relative to the bliss that was the previous season. You know, the relative bliss. For all is relative. This week's episode is brought to you by Palm Bay. All right, well, my objective right now, I think, is to hammer through as much of the Code of Hammurabi as we can. We started it a couple shows ago, but it's... What's going on with that harsh light? Okay. We started it a couple episodes ago, but, you know, we still got like 200 laws to go, and you can't finish something that you didn't start. So we should all start more things. We should all wake up tomorrow and start a thing that we didn't feel we had it in us to start. It's like, I've got so many things going on. I can't possibly start another thing. You can start working on your soul right now, for the time is near, to use the word nigh, to repent, for judgment is coming. It must be. It's in that Bible that everyone reads, that it's coming. So at a certain point, you know, the future tense must become the present tense. And like, you know, why not now? Seems like now is as good a time as any. For me, at least. You know, it's my MO. I don't know where we were. Okay, so there's a bunch. Okay, so recap. He thanks all the gods we don't know, amazing names. The fundamental premise of the religion of the Assyrian, or like religion, by religion I mean like codex of laws, like ways to live your life if you want to stay living. You know, the punishment seems to very consistently to be put to death. And I, you know, think that is what we should do to Harvey Weinstein. I think we should carve up his disgusting body and provide it as a testimony to our Salem witch trials that we're running, where we just out everyone for being, I don't know, power hungry. Like, if Kevin Spacey or Jeffrey Tambor or possibly even Harvey Weinstein, though he's the fucking worst of the lot, if he had like known that this is what was going to happen, he might not have done it. So point made, universe, and society of punitive opinion. Congratulations, you've done the awesomest job you can possibly do. But like, you know, Dustin Hoffman having to apologize for something that happened in 1985, like asking an 80-year-old man, and I know him being 80 doesn't matter. He was younger then and did bad stuff then, but it's like the notion of good stuff and bad stuff changes over time. Just like what is hardcore porn now and what was hardcore porn in the 1970s is very, very different. So it's like stupid to hold a contemporary society to changing norms and acting as if the contemporary norm that is just an aspect of changing norms as the time before was changing norms. Like I just think we all need to kill Harvey Weinstein because he is very bad. He is not a human who will ever repent. And Harvey, if you're listening, I'd like to make a movie about this, about us killing you. It'll be your finest film. You will win all of the Oscars. All of them. We will even dress you as Oscar. We will cover you in gold while we eviscerate you for what you have done that is truly reprehensible. And I guess, like, we will forgive. I don't know who we're going to forgive. Like, the people who knew about it, who just didn't say anything about it, like, I don't know. Like, we should probably forgive them, like, because you were still, you're the alpha bully. You're a fucking piece of shit. I would, you know, get over my pacification thing and carve your throat so I could watch your last breath come out of your beady little dirty eyes. And I would not feel bad about that or worry that Dad would be upset at me about that because it's frankly what needs to and should be done. So please don't commit suicide, Harvey Weinstein, for we will kill you. You're such a pussy. You're such a piece of shit pussy that, you know we have to do it for you. You always need everyone to do everything for you. You can't satisfy yourself unless you're demeaning others. So, you can demean your intestines all over my face. That's gross. I don't want that. That's disgusting. Somebody else may want that, though. That might be a fetish. If that's a fetish, call into the show. 1-866-666-10-666-3. If you don't call in, we're going to read Hammurabi's code. But the lines are, to my best estimation, open. So if you have a different way that you might want to kill Harvey Weinstein, let me know. If any man without the knowledge, this is 59, if you're following along in your Hammurabi's code. If any man without the knowledge of the owner of a garden fell a tree in the garden, he shall pay half a mina in money. Yeah, don't cut down someone else's trees. That's stupid. If anyone give over a field to a gardener for him to plant it as a garden, if he work at it and care for it for 4 years, in the 5th year the owner and the gardener shall divide it, the owner taking his part in charge. Because another thing, other than being put to death, that Hammurabi, hang on, sorry. How about you mute? The other thing that Hammurabi likes is fairness. Is fairness in use of crops, in utility of space, because this was part of like agriculture. People did not have iPhone, like they did not after the 4th year of using their iPhone share their iPhone. That was not a part of the terms and conditions. 61. If the gardener has not completed the planting of the field, leaving one part unused, this shall be assigned to him as his. So if he didn't do the whole... Okay, this is interesting. So if he didn't do the whole thing, he just did a bit, then the owner gets the part that he did, arguably in better shape, and he has to deal with the shit with, like, grass everywhere. And, like, weeds. So that's fair. There's very little about Hammurabi's code I would like to point out that isn't fair. I don't understand why this isn't more... why this isn't a book of the Bible. Why is the Bible so boring? Why is the Bible so unfair? Why is the Bible so monotheistic? It's fucking stupid. 62. If he do not plant the field that was given over to him as a garden, if it be arable land for corn or sesame, the gardener shall pay the owner the produce of the fields for the years that he let it lie fallow, according to the product of neighboring fields. Put the field in arable condition and return it to its owner. Okay, so according to the product of neighboring fields. That's an interesting sort of like, very basic economic average given, like this is like real estate, essentially, like agricultural real estate. And that's interesting. If he transform wasteland into arable fields and return it to its owner, the latter shall pay him for 1 year 10 gur for 10 gan. Whatever. If anyone hand over his garden to a gardener to work, the gardener shall pay to its owner 2/3 of the produce of the garden for so long as he has it in possession, and the other third shall he keep. Okay, so I don't know about this notion of hand over, but that's fine. That makes sense. If the gardener do not work in the garden and the product fall off, the gardener shall pay in proportion to other neighboring gardens. Oh, wow. This is in square parentheses. Here, a portion of the text is missing, apparently comprising 34 paragraphs. So we go, no joke, guys, from code 65 to code 100. What are we missing? What could be? Well, let's finish reading it and then we could think. You could call in 1-866-10-6663 with like ideas about what possibly Hammurabi could have intended for his people to do in a way that they shall not be put to death. Oh, and 100 starts in the middle. Let's see if we can figure it out. Interest for the money, comma, as much as he has received, he shall give a note therefore, and on the day when they settle, pay to the merchant. Whatever, money. 101. If there are no mercantile arrangements in the place whither he went, he shall leave the entire amount of money which he has received with the broker to give to the merchant. I assume that relates to the previous one. Whatever, pay money to people. If a merchant entrust money to an agent, broker, for some investment, and the broker suffer a loss in the place to which he goes, because like people had to like physically go to places. You know what I mean? People didn't just go on the internet. People went to places. People took ships to go to places. There were pirates where you could suffer a loss, like a loss of your limb. You could lose your parrot. He shall make good the capital to the merchant. The broker suffers a loss. Shall make good the capital. Well, I don't know. That sounds a little ridiculous. Like, what if 10... Uh-oh. We also have a break in the contiguous printing of this. So we go from 102 to 111. Sorry about that. That is not a gap in the Code of Hammurabi, but that is a gap in my printer. Well, from 110, we can only guess, since the only word I have is death, shall be put to is probably what precedes it. If, excuse me, 111. If an innkeeper furnish 60 ka of usakani drink to, and this is also missing, ... she shall receive 50 ka of corn at the harvest. So booze is good. Booze is good. Got it. 112. Ooh, this one starts interesting. If anyone be on a journey and entrust silver, gold, precious stones, or any movable property to another, and shall wish to recover it from him, if the latter do not bring all of the property to the appointed place, but appropriate it to his own use, then shall the man who did not bring the property to hand it over be convicted, and he shall pay fivefold for all that had been entrusted to him. So, don't steal. If anyone have consignment of corn or money, and he take from the granary a box without the knowledge of the owner, then shall he who took the corn without the knowledge of the owner out of the granary or money out of the box be legally convicted, and repay the corn he has taken, and he shall lose whatever commission was paid to him or due him. So it's like less, because previous was fivefold, pay fivefold. So if you steal gold, silver, precious metals, etc. But if it's just corn or money, what was money to them? I don't know. but clearly less than gold, silver, and precious stones, or any movable property. So, they didn't have IKEA. So, I'm not sure what a movable property... Did they have RVs? I don't know. If a man have no claim on another for corn or money and try to demand it by force, he shall pay 1/3 of a mina of silver in every case, whatever. If any one have a claim for corn or money upon another and imprison him, if the prisoner die in prison a natural death, the case shall go no further. Whatever. If the prisoner die in prison from blows or maltreatment, the master of the prisoner shall convict the merchant before the judge. If he was a freeborn man, the son of the merchant shall be put to death. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? Who's getting put to death here? If it was a slave, he shall pay, and all that the master of the prisoner gave, he shall forfeit. That seemed a little extreme. I'm not sure what this merchant did. The son of the merchant, no less. If anyone fail to meet a claim for debt and sell himself, his wife, his son, his daughter for money, or give them away to forced labor, they shall work for 3 years in the house of the man who bought them or the proprietor, and in the 4th year they shall be set free. 118. If he gives a male or female slave away for forced labor, and the merchant sublease them or sell them for money, no objection can be raised. If anyone fail to meet a claim for debt, and he sell the maidservant who has borne him children for money, the money which the merchant has paid shall be repaid to him by the owner of the slave, and she shall be freed. Fail to meet a claim for a debt. If anyone store corn for safekeeping in another person's house, and any harm happens to the corn in storage, or if the owner of the house open the granary and take some of the corn, or if especially he deny that the corn was stored in his house, then the owner of the corn shall claim his corn before God on oath, and the owner of the house shall pay its owner for all of the corn that he took. I think this is the first time that God, and like in what I'm reading that I printed off the internet, it says capital G-O-D, but there's all these other gods that were listed earlier in the introduction, so I'm not sure about this God, like, on oath. Oh, hang on. In brackets, it says on oath. So, God, can you imagine? Like, I'm trying here. I'm trying to read this in English for people who hear English and robots who translate English into their AI. I'm trying here, but like, this is possibly a terrible translation. This might be a complete waste of my time. 1-866-10-666-3. I feel like a good caller is going to call in. I feel it. I feel cold. If anyone store corn in another man's house, he shall pay him for storage at the rate of 1 gur for every 5 ka of corn per year, whatever. If anyone give another silver, gold, or anything else to keep, he shall show everything to some witness, draw up a contract, and then hand it over for safekeeping. So yeah, draw up a contract. That's a good idea. Like, here's my gold that you're keeping. If he turn it over for safekeeping without witness or contract, and if he to whom it was given deny it, then he has no legitimate claim. But previously, we learned that if somebody accuses somebody of something and they can't back it up, they get put to death. So I feel like this person has no legitimate claim and shall be put to death. If anyone delivers silver, gold, or anything else to another for safekeeping before a witness, but he deny it, he shall be brought before a judge, and all that he has denied he shall pay in full. Yeah, they're a little more lenient. Like, Hammurabi's a little more lenient on the money thing. I guess, like, it probably wasn't as important as was hard work and fucking making your fields look good, right? If anyone place his property with another for safekeeping, and there, either through thieves or robbers, his property and the property of the other man be lost, the owner of the house, through whose neglect the loss took place, shall compensate the owner for all that was given to him in charge. But the owner of the house shall try to follow up and recover his property and take it away from the thief. I stopped paying attention. If anyone who has not lost his goods state that they have been lost and makes false claims, if he claims his good in amount of injury before God, on oath, even though he has not lost them, he shall be fully compensated for all his loss claimed. But he made false claims. Why aren't we putting him to death? It seems like we've gone from Old Testament God to New Testament God relatively quickly. Hammurabi, you're softening up on us, kitten. Let's go here. 127. If anyone point the finger, slander, at a sister of a god, or the wife of any one, and cannot prove it, this man shall be taken before the judges, and his brow shall be marked by cutting his skin or perhaps hair. This is in parentheses. Huh. Well, Harvey Weinstein, right here. Maybe we don't need to kill you, but we do need to cut your head off. As a mark. As a mark, of course. 128. If a man take a woman to wife, but have no intercourse with her, this woman is no wife to him. Okay. That's something. If a man's wife be surprised with another man, so, both shall be tied and thrown into the water, but the husband may pardon his wife and the king his slaves. Okay, but the guy who's fucking around is cooked. Cooked. Infidelity, don't covet thy neighbor's wife, is very... What's that word? Lenient. Comparison with this. If a man violates the wife of another man who has never known a man and still lives in her father's house and sleep with her and be surprised, this man shall be put to death, but the wife is blameless. Of course she's blameless. This is basic sexual assault law right here. This is awesome. Why? You get to plead religious, clemency maybe, or you get to plead that you are religious. So you don't have to participate in things. You don't have to get vaccines if you're religious. So I don't see why not. You can't. Sure. We should all become Hammurabians. It's very fair. It's much shorter than the Bible. It's taking forever to read, but it is hand in hand, much shorter than the Bible. And clearly he's got a handle on how humans act and how to respond to their actions in ways that arguably minimizes further negative conduct, because the Assyrians were a cool enough people that we gave them a name and can still reference them now. And I can print this off the internet in the language that I speak, though poorly translated it may be. 131. If a man bring a charge against one's wife, but she is not surprised with another man, she must take an oath and then may return to her house. Okay. You get a little excited. You wonder. The imagination goes. Sorry, I seem to have a hack on here. Uh-oh. I forgot to rename the show. That's too bad. If the finger is pointed, as in slandered, at a man's wife about another man, but she is not caught sleeping with the other man, she shall jump into the river for her husband. Okay, well, Hammurabi, just at the point when I compliment you, you go and force a woman for arguably no reason to jump into a river. All right, 133. We're going to 150. That is what I've decided. If a man is taken prisoner in war, and there is sustenance in his house, but his wife leaves house and court, and go to another house. What? Because this wife did not keep her court, and went to another house, she shall be judicially condemned and thrown into the water. So women are now being thrown into the water. Let's just all take note of that. Last two codes, laws. And I wasn't paying attention when I read it, so I don't know what it means. If anyone be captured in war, and there is not sustenance in his house, if then his wife go to another house, this woman shall be held blameless. Yeah, you're just borrowing some eggs. If a man be taken prisoner in war, and there be no sustenance in his house, and his wife go to another house, and bear children, and if later her husband return and come to his house, then this wife shall return to her husband, but the children follow their father. Whatever. Patriarchy. I get it. If anyone leaves his house, run away, and then his wife go to another house, If then he return and wishes to take his wife back, because he fled from his home and ran away, the wife of this runaway shall not return to her husband. Pussy. If a man wish to separate from a woman who has borne him children, or from his wife who has borne him children, then he shall give that wife her dowry, and a part of the usufruct of field, garden, and property, so that she can rear her children. Child support. Oh my God. When she has brought up her children, a portion of all that is given to the children, equal as that of one son, shall be given to her. She may then marry the man of her heart. Aw, because it ain't you, first husband. Fucking pound your seed into her and then run away. 138. If a man wishes to separate from his wife, who has borne him no children, he shall give her the amount of her purchase money and the dowry which she brought from her father's house, and let her go. Yeah. Whatever. If there ain't no kids, there ain't no shit. Like, love. I don't think there's love in this, but it does say that she may marry the man of her heart. So who knows? If there was no purchase price, he shall give her 1 mina of gold as a gift of release. If he be a freedman, he shall give her 1/3 of a mina of gold. I don't care. If a man's wife, who lives in his house, wishes to leave it, plunges into debt, tries to ruin her house, neglects her husband, whoa. You're leading the witness here, and is judicially convicted of what? If her husband offer her release, she may go on her way, and he gives her nothing as a gift of release. If her husband does not wish to release her, and if he take another wife, she shall remain a servant in her husband's house. All right, so the women are not have not proclamated their emancipation just yet, but, it's certainly better than what we're dealing with in, the West. Is that what we call it? Like west of east? If a woman quarrel with her husband and say, quote, "You are not congenial to me," the reasons for her prejudice must be presented. If she is guiltless and there is no fault on her part, but he leaves and neglects her, then no guilt attaches to this woman, and she shall take her dowry and go back to her father's house. Whatever. If she is not innocent, but leaves her husband and ruins her house, guess what? Guess which way she shall be put to death? Ruins her house, neglecting her father. This woman shall be cast into the water. 7 more. If a man take a wife, and this woman give her husband a maidservant, and she bear him children, but this man wishes to take another wife, this shall not be permitted to him. He shall not take a second wife. You're already fucking the servant. There's kids everywhere. You gotta control yourself. But luckily, you're not cast into the river, which you probably should be for such conduct. If a man take a wife, and she bear him no children, and he intend to take another wife, if he take the second wife and bring her into the house, the second wife shall not be allowed equality with his wife. Ooh, that's interpretable. Okay. If a man take a wife, and she give this man a maidservant as wife, and she bear him children, and then this maid assume equality with the wife, because she has borne him children, her master shall not sell her for money, but he may keep her as a slave, reckoning her among the maidservants. I don't know about that one. If she have not borne him children, then her mistress may sell her for money. Ooh. If a man take a wife, and she be seized by disease, if he then desire to take a second wife, he shall not put away his wife, who has been attacked by disease, but he shall keep her in the house which he has built and support her so long as she lives. Sure. Disability payments. If this woman does not wish to remain in her husband's house, then he shall compensate her for the dowry that she brought with her from her father's house, and she may go. Last one. If a man give his wife a field, garden, and house, and a deed therefor, if then after the death of her husband the sons raise no claim, then the mothers may bequeath all to one of her sons who she prefers, and need leave nothing to his brothers. I didn't listen while I was reading, so I don't know about that last one, but probably because most of what you say is good. I just don't understand why we're throwing women into water here. Hamu, may I call you Hamu? Winter's coming. I would like to thank everyone who's been so nice to me on Twitter the last couple of weeks. I feel like I'm really owning... I felt like I was really owning Twitter, and now it's changed. But I'm not going to be one of those people who bitches about, like, who complains about a service you don't really pay for. Like, I used to like to have the countdown for my tweets, and now I know that when I hit the halfway mark of your circle, it means I've hit my limit, and I'm going to try not to exceed that, because it just seems like Twitter functions... Like, we all figured out how to say what we needed to say. Some people figured out how to do these short links. Some people figured out how to, like, ruin the English language and mush everything together, you know, and I just tried to write in proper sentences aphoristically. So you've sort of changed the game on us a little bit, but that's okay. But then I also hear you might be taking away our naughty imagery. Like, you're going to make Twitter less porn-friendly or, like, less Weinstein-y, I guess, but... The internet is just like, the internet is like a large Harvey Weinstein in a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man costume, if you think about it. So, because you're all weak and you're all scared, but when you type with such aggression. I'm sorry, people who I fought with on Twitter also this week, or just not fought with, but just like, you know, tread confusedly through, and like you said something and I responded and I probably misunderstood you, but then you definitely misunderstood me, and then we're just back and forth misunderstanding one another. Other people are reading it, people are siding, and then you've got sides, and then you just feel like either a jet or a shark, and it really foregrounds the fact that social media is quite lacking in fundamental religious empathy. And so, you know, I think it's important that not only do I try to bring the empathy, but also that I get in fights on Twitter, because who the fuck cares? You know, trans ethics, you goofballs. Ethics cannot be quantified. You can't quantify an ethic. That's stupid. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, no definition of ethic that anyone has given ever. So maybe you have your own definition that can be quantified, but that's not correlative with definitely my definition or pretty much anybody else's. So I'm sorry about that. And then, I don't know. Sorry that I am mean to whoever runs at the tweet of God, but you're really fucking terrible. Or maybe I'm terrible. Whatever. You have 3.1 million followers, so you're probably more terrible just because you're pedigreed, and pedigree leads to complacency, leads to lack of, commitment to your character. And I currently am much more committed to my character than you are at the tweet of God. Oh no. Where's this cough coming from? Alright, well. That was Hammurabi's code. Perhaps next time we'll read 50 more, but I'm pretty sure there's only 250. And maybe there'll be more gaps. And then I'm sure there's a conclusion. And then we're good. Then we did it. We did it together. We found a better system of existence. And it's old. It's much older. We're not like progressing. We're not progressing the way that we think we are. Well, let's see if we get a copyright claim here. We're not progressing the way that we think we are. The globe isn't warming up. We're just starting to explode. Because nothing in our bodies makes sense anymore. We're lying to ourselves. We don't take care of our fucking fields. We don't put to death those who should be put to death. We don't cast women into water. Joking. Let's not cast anybody into water. We relish a witch trial. Social media has afforded everyone the opportunity to finally speak up. in a way that they hadn't otherwise. And to that I say, puh. How did we get so fucking stupid? How did we get so filled with sugar? How did we get so antidepressed? Like, how did things turn so poorly so quickly? Oh, capitalism, I wonder. Profits before people. Fields before people. But fields rejuvenate. They're a part of the earth. They're complex organisms. No money, other than maybe Bitcoin, is a complex organism. Why did we let ourselves forget? Why can't we remember? Why can't we remember?
Milwaukee man led a fairly decent life, made a fairly decent living, had a fairly decent wife. She killed him, sushi knife. Now they're shopping for a fairly decent afterlife. The werewolf is gone. The fact is, most old bits are mixed reviews. Life is a lottery, a lot of people lose. And the winners, the grinners with money-colored eyes, eat all the nuggets, then they order extra fries.
Why can't we remember how much we forgot? Why are we so fat? Why are we so lazy? Why don't we all have fields? Why don't we tend our crops? Why don't we fuck our servants and raise those children too? Why did we get rid of slavery? Like, we still have slavery, but why? It seems so stupid to abolish slavery. It's functioned for so long. We're all free. Yeah, we're all free, but there's a werewolf ripping through our bodies. Like the bullets of Americans that they put into other Americans. America's like one big fucking bullet presence. It's gonna be a fun Civil War. Civil War 2. I played that video game. It was good, but yours will be better.
It's a full moon, sitting at the appetite. I hear howling, prowling on the hill. The werewolf's coming in. The werewolf's coming in. The werewolf's coming. The werewolf's coming.
This week's episode, well, not week's episode, whatever. This has been brought to you by Palm Bay. Don't never forget that. Drink your stripper drinks, drink your Palm Bay, and if a man take a wife, or if a wife take a wife, or if a man take a man, or if a man become a woman through a complex pharmacological and physical surgery, and then decide to take another man, woman, wife, like, you know, just follow your heart. Like, why is follow your heart in this code somehow a thing like, oh, well, I guess if you're not gonna ever achieve happiness through not following your heart, you should probably follow your heart. Follow your heart. Follow your heart, but know that your heart is lying to you. Not because your heart intends to lie to you, but because we are bombarded by so much confusement and, if not fake news, falsities presenting themselves as truths. How to distinguish? Well, you have to trust your heart. You have to have faith in your heart, that your heart is a reflection and a representation of God. And if you can't have that level of faith, well, then, you're a moral relativist, and you're going to keep slipping through bad decision after regretting decision after bad decision after regretting decision. And you'll probably have to cast yourself into a river. So, in the interest of not having to do that, I recommend you all feel this weird thing, charged by electrical impulse that beats inside your body. Feel that. That is the only thing that you should listen to. But no, it's not alone. We all have them, and they are all beautiful representations of the handiwork of something far greater than we could ever comprehend. And if that's too complicated for you, well, then maybe you should just be put to death. But not before we kill Harvey Weinstein. Don't kill yourself, Harvey. It's our job. We'll do it for you. And we'll win you the Oscars. Good night, everybody. Don't think, other than to Harvey Weinstein, don't think negative thoughts. The world's a beautiful place with so many sexists and pederasts and necrophiliacs in it.